Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Total Annihilation replay. I know it's been a little while since we've had an upload for you. There have been a lot of circumstances making it a little bit difficult for me and my brother to be able to get together and get this done. In part because my basement flooded. That was exciting. But that's not what you guys are here for. Instead, you guys are here for these lovely purple flooded islands in a map otherwise known as Gods of War. So today we've got a intergalactic war match from Phoenix Works. So in the same way that that the video from before was a IGW match between Coolnick and I, this is between Corps Commander TEA Towel, T Towel, and everybody's favorite Finnish commander Tiptushi. Um, Now Towel is otherwise known as Woody, and that's just what I'm going to be calling him this whole time. A lot of the guys, once they join the it didn't really start till later, but once they joined the T clan, which is the Totally English Annihilators, they changed their names to be T puns. So um, I know, like the original guys, you had Alpha and Beta, which I believe they're brothers. Lurcule was one who was pretty good. Um, there was Monkey, but like they became like T. Oh yeah, Downside was another totally English annihilator. But then they all changed their names to like T Leaves, T Pot, T Bag. Classic stuff like that. So Gods of War, as you're aware, is probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular map. Again, in reviewing what we have here, we've got slight unbalance in the map based on the metal positions. So Tip is arm, as this is an IGW, it will be played arm versus core, and Woody is core. So wind is the common way to go here. It's not the best, as in it's not particularly steady. However, it is more efficient to go wind on Gods of War than it is to go solar. So very rarely will you ever see anybody put up a solar on this map. Now, one thing about Woody when it came to Gods of War is that this became a map that he really dedicated a lot of time to and practiced that. To the point where like I wasn't even a match for him. Although this has always been one of my worst maps. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit contrarian, but everybody else thought it was the coolest, and I was like, this is so tedious to play for me. Um, that I knew how to play the basic strategy on it, and I could support my partner if we ever played a 2 versus 2. But if I was expected to carry a game on Gods of War, it was almost a certainty that if you were to place your bet there, it would be much easier to bet against whoever was playing me, almost regardless of who it was. So Woody will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure he served me my backside on this map on more than one occasion. So you can see that they're both going vehicle first. Kind of became, at least around when I was playing, the standard start, going vehicle and putting out 4 construction vehicles, and then reclaiming and going air. That was usually how this map was played at the time. You can see how they also have the game speed sped up, and then they slow it down once they go. It's usually done by agreement. It's considered bad form to be cranking up and adjusting the game speed during the game. The recorder allowed for a new command, syncon, .syncon, and then you put in 2 numbers, and that locks the speed, prevent people from jacking around while you're trying to do things like bombing runs. See, Woody immediately puts out a missile tower to protect against potential air first. Tiptushi does the exact same. They both know of that they're both capable bombers. They're getting bombed out is something that can happen. Although with enough construction vehicles, and if the bombing is not done well enough, you can fight back from it. Woody's making rounds, I think 6.5 metal. He's actually up a little higher right now. Got his 3 cons out. Now Tip has gone 3 cons and he's reclaimed air. Looks like Woody is going 4. So Woody's kind of got the more generic strategy at the time. Now you notice here how Woody's plant immediately disappeared as soon as that construction vehicle was done. As he was building that construction vehicle, he was switching and then pressing reclaim on his commander to reclaim that plant. And so whenever he was stalling on energy, he would switch to reclaiming. So that way his commander was truly not ever really idle. Tip says, Woody is one of those people I want to peep early. And he's never really sure what Woody's up to. And there goes Tip's peeper. And he gets to see what he's up to. Woody's got an Atlas out. I mean, sorry, Tip has his Atlas out, and he has picked up his con. Got a Freedom Fighter out as well. Woody seems to be going straight to the Avenger. And Tip flies his Avenger off screen, but Woody is able to get his con down, and that is a lucky thing for Woody there that he didn't lose that con. Tip gets his con out unmolested. Yeah, Woody doesn't even really bother trying to attack or harass that. That's not really good use of time. So I agree with the call there. Woody has gone bomber. See how he's trying to damage the construction vehicle. Fighter's coming back. Perfect timing by Woody there, just flying that off screen. And it gets to live. That was really cool. Kind of had the right timing up, and then he goes and he loses it. Darn it, Woody, I was just giving you a compliment. Although he didn't really expect Tip to bring his fighters back around. So he gets the missile towers for his trouble. That was really good timing by Woody, though. See, what Woody's doing is to protect his con. He's actually flying the Atlas the Valkyrie off screen, making it difficult for the fighters to target. And then it comes flying in, and he gets to drop it really without being bothered. Tip's Air Force comes in, finds the con, but it's already down. That is enough fighters to deal with the con, though. Oh, and I missed a sneaky drop by Tip. Woody, you can see on his island here, he didn't have radar up. Because he didn't have radar up, he didn't actually get to see what Tip was up to when he flew that Atlas in. Really well done by Tip there. This again has to do with the elevation of the island, and that's why Tip is having trouble getting his fighters in. He needs to actually, you see now, after they did their pass, their elevation goes up. And so that makes it easier for them to shoot down. So Woody brings his con in for a con battle. And their air forces come in too. You can see Woody is reclaiming those dragon's teeth. His construction vehicle, so that way he can use his missile towers that he's got. Woody's con is in really rough shape here. Wow, yeah, and Woody just holds on there. Comes out ahead, wipes out Tip's Air Force, and keeps his con alive, although I don't know for how much longer. Tip has gone C. Woody has also gone C. Woody's got a little bit more build power on his air plant right now, and he's also in control of 3 islands. Although he's not really getting any resources from this one down here, and this one's in fairly precarious shape. If Skeets come in looking for those fighters, he finds them. Bags 1. He comes in the fight, and then here's another con, flies in for support. Even though he's lost the Valkyries, he hasn't lost any of his construction vehicles. And immediately he starts to repair. I think that's a really good choice. He puts out a C-con and then sends his commander. Like he's going to be walking back, build more bombers. But he's got a fantastic idle con here. See, the style of play in this game is different between the Jono and the Andy game that we previously had. A lot of it has to do with the time. The Jono Andy game was 2013. This one is in 2009. It sounds like from just reading Andy's comments and that you can see Tip did a little cheeky comm lift right there. It looks like he's planning on comm rushing that top aisle. That at the time that Jono and Andy were playing, it was fairly common to have bombers just try and bomb somebody out of an island. Go heavy-duty bombers. Here comes the commander. Tip low on energy. It doesn't matter. It takes a little while for the commander to do enough, for a missile tower to do enough damage. And that Khan is in trouble. But he tries to move it away. And it's gone. So Tip built the metal extractor in the wrong spot, so rather than wait for the 5 seconds for the self-destruct, he goes ahead and he just D-guns it. That's one of the things that's different with the new escalation mod, is that the self-destruct sequence only takes 2 seconds for a metal extractor. It makes it a lot easier to upgrade. Woody bombing just takes out some missile towers. And Woody's going C. Now Tip is in control of that top island. And Woody has walked his commander down. Or did he fly it down? So yeah, I probably should slow down so I can keep up with things. Nice run by Tip there. And he's building an advanced K-bot lab. A core advanced K-bot lab. He's also reclaiming his shipyard. He got a single enforcer out. Tip has gone K-bot as well. Fully anticipate he would also be building an advanced K-bot lab. He's looking for pelicans. Not exactly sure what Woody wants, but you can see, okay, he's building a resurrection K-bot, otherwise known as a necro. You can see there's this dead construction vehicle right here. You can also see that he's shooting his own field because he's planning on reclaiming this advanced K-bot lab. He scares off the skeets, and now he has his Necro in, and he has captured ARM technology using the core Necro. He immediately starts building a ARM K-bot lab. He now has ARM vermin technology. See, Woody's building a metal storage here. K-bot labs are around 2,000 metal, so when he reclaims it, his standard storage of what he's got right now, 1,700, would cost him to excess 300 metal. Although it looks like he may just take the hit, so we can get it out a little faster, because it costs about that much to build the metal storage. Tip's going Crusaders. You can also see Tip doing what Tip likes to do. He loves to farm up a nice big line of titles. Woody's doing the same. Woody's got 4 cons on resources. Tip also has 4 cons, but he's got 1 building defense. I imagine he'd switch that one to resources eventually. He's going Pelicans. Both guys have entered into their SimCity modes. Tip loves to build. One of the things I learned against about playing him and watching him is that he's very, very hard to outbuild. He has an excellent patience for doing building. As you can see, if you watch the Core Prime Industrial area game, that is all about just building and staying on top of your economy. And Tip is very good about that. He liked playing Total Annihilation SimCity. Tip says, "LOL, nice one." He just realized what Woody had done. Woody says that was a lot of effort. Nikan throwing in a comment. Now, Nikan is another Finnish Total Annihilation player. Very fun guy to play with. Member of Team Finland. But he rebuilding his shipyard. A nice job on Tip here, noticing that his titles are lacking in air defense. Tip comes through and does a little bit of bombing. He brings his fighters back to cover. Brings down his skeets as well. He's got his 1 enforcer, and he has his lovely core pelicans in the water. Tip is putting out Farks at this point, building his advanced radar. Woody's got his advanced radar up this time, not going to make the same mistake as before. Really, though, that mistake works out in his favor, because if he had killed that con in the air transport as it came in, he might not have had the opportunity to pick up that wreck. Not good UC by Woody there, driving that Enforcer in to get caught. Tip catches it, sinks it. Your Tip would have loved to keep the wreck. The reason why that Enforcer wreck isn't right there is if you shoot the wreck of a skeet on top of another wreck. So whatever wreck is the most recent one to go in, that's the one that goes to the bottom of the water. So that was a tactic you could use, is if somebody had a big wreck right by their base that you wanted to reclaim, then what you would do, that you didn't want them to reclaim, is you'd drive a skeet over the top of it and let it get killed before you could reclaim it, and that would replace the shipyard wreck worth a decent amount with the skeet wreck worth a mere 80 metal. Advanced K-Bot going for a ride. And there are the invader bombs. Right now, Woody's behind on resources, primarily because of the fact that Tip's controlling the top. But Woody's got the advantage with the Pelicans here. He's pressing in. Tip only recently switched to Pelicans. He went for a little bit more build power before that. Looks like the decision might be costing him at this point. And that Stingray gets a few shots off before Woody's Enforcer takes it down. Oh, I don't know. This might work out for Tip. It's a lot of wreckage right now in Tip's front yard. And Woody backs off. So, Tip lost a con for his trouble, and there's a lot to clean up. Woody is now going Big Bertha, not building Intimidator, but a Big Bertha. On this map, he doesn't really need the range that an Intimidator offers. That's the major difference. Intimidator is also significantly more inaccurate. Tip hasn't been building up bombers, so he's not going to be ready for it. He also hasn't scouted it. Tip instead has built a second advanced K-Bot lab, probably to push out more Pelicans. He does a little raiding. Woody tells him to F off because of all the roach bombing that he's been doing, all the invader bombing. Listen to me using Arm Vermin unit names. There goes Tip's scout, and he marks the Big Bertha. Immediately, well, he's got one bomber. That's not going to be enough. He's doing a pretty good job of keeping that Enforcer around. Big Bertha is up. He does the scouting. Here comes Tip. Probably trying to make a play for that Big Bertha with his Crusaders. It is within Crusader range. He goes, he just starts shooting it. This is way too big of an army, I think, for him to handle. And Tip's Navy is brought low. Woody's scouting. That's a lot of metal there for Woody to clean up. Tip's doing a lot better job controlling that wreck field. And you can see Tip right here is cranking out bombers. He intends to bomb it. Tip nearly, what's that? I gotta be able to do math here. 12,000 ahead as far as metal goes. Tip continuing to build a ton of resources. Woody's just kind of gone idle over here. Although he's putting out an advanced shipyard. Woody seems to have a bit more metal than he knows what to do with. He's got some in storage. And he's cleaned up all of Tip's air plants, except for the new one that Tip just put up. And he's having his Big Bertha start pegging those pelicans. It's got enough kills at this point where it's actually pretty darn accurate, 24 kills. He's just doing a good job of staying on top of those air plants. The reason why Tip is building up as many bombers as he is he knows that it's going to take a lot of bombers to get through those fortification walls, as well as the nano-blocking that he's planning on doing. You can see he's got construction vehicles all around it. He's got the K-bot there. He's got vehicles. He's ready to block when those bombers come in. And that Bertha is doing a lot of work for Woody right now. Really keeping Tip back. Tip's production is still through the roof. More titles than ever before, it seems. And here come those bombers. That was good timing. Lucky for Woody that he saw. You can see he brings his screen down here, and he is getting ready to nanoblock. And he does. Tip drew in his planned angle of attack, and the Big Bertha just barely survives. He's repairing it at this point. Just a sliver of life left on it. The nanoblocking Khan is dead. It'll help clear the way for, that'll help clear the way for Tip if he wants to try and go in again. Woody going on the offensive here. See, Woody's toggling his shoot all on and off. He wants to make sure that his Pelican's missiles are shooting at things that can hurt them first. Like Woody has sent a Khan in for some reason. And his advanced shipyard is on, and he's doing what we've seen a lot of other players do. He's putting out hives, which will produce around 340 energy once you turn off the radar. Woody really cleaning up Tip's production right here. Tip putting up his own Big Bertha. He's really not been able to successful in keeping his air plants up. It's not like this is a big open map where he has a lot of different places where you can put the air factories. He really only has the islands, and that's really hard to hide something on an island that's as small as these. Woody's really pushing in and overrunning Tip at this point. And it appears as if core forces have liberated an island from armed vermin control. I'm not biased in any way. Tip is still ahead in production, and he gets his own Big Bertha up, and a Big Bertha battle ensues. See right there, he's just got him set to guard right now. Woody is not nano blocking. I don't know if he notices. Hounds are getting wiped out. Now Woody is shooting back at this point. All you have to do is set your Big Bertha to return fire. See, now he's nano blocking. He's not ever been planning on getting that fusion done. Woody's Bertha is more accurate at this point, but Tip, he's just maintaining it. He just throws out a new nanoblock every time that shot gets destroyed. The interesting thing about, and I don't know if someone might have to correct me, but like Tip just says good game. Woody's Big Bertha won the fight. So Tip, despite his massive production, has fallen to core and Woody's core Pelicans. So yeah, what I was talking about with the Big Bertha fight is if you don't know where a Big Bertha is and it's shooting at your Big Bertha, just set the orders to return fire and press stop, and then the Big Bertha will wait until it takes a sliver of damage, because when it destroys your nanoblock, it'll take a little bit of damage, and then it will fix target on the incoming Big Bertha. And likely that's what Woody did at that point, and that's how he was able to peg that Big Bertha without even scouting it. You just saw he didn't have it marked or anything like that. So Tip, having had his islands wiped out, even though he had massive production, he really just, I don't know if he just didn't take the turn from going SimCity and going into units fast enough, and Woody was just really able to get that Bertha up and have it firing on him. And Woody just stayed pretty aggressive too. So Great job by the English Total Annihilation player here. Definitely very fun to see the Necro get used. The Necro was a unit you had to micromanage it. If you tried to shift click and do multiple resurrections, it just simply wouldn't work. It would stop working on you. But for something like stealing technology, it was actually pretty useful. I've done that myself a few times, and I always thought it was a cute thing to do. Usually made people they were pretty surprised when it happened. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that one, and we'll have another one for you soon too, hopefully. And you all take care. Bye bye. Oh, make sure you degun that like button as well as the subscribe button. Everyone knows that the algorithm loves that stuff. Okay, bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Total Annihilation. We're gonna have another false start here, where you're gonna edit it and put it at the end of the video, aren't you? Great, that's just what I wanted. I need more of that out there. Me stumbling over my own tongue.